Hey everybody, I hope everyone is staying well and safe. I'm following the trend of almost the entire globe now, and currently have a Switch, and currently Animal Crossing. I'm a bit of a late bloomer to the franchise because I started my journey with Animal Crossing in New Leaf, but I really loved my time with New Leaf. It's kind of a wild concept to think about, though how many things had changed and had updated with New Horizons compared to New Leaf. Because I started late in the game series, I can't even really say too much about how I feel about it, but while New Leaf is very special to me because it's the first game that got me into the series, I really love New Horizons, and it's probably my favorite out of the two, but I'm not sure if I'm saying so much from that statement. But I've seen a couple of videos of people doing monthly updates with their islands, and I thought that it actually would have been perfect because I started on this game exactly 1 month ago and I just finished the main plot of it, or the main story. So basically what I'm saying is that I can terraform now and I'm really excited about it. But with terraforming, my island is definitely going to change from its original form. I'm going to be changing a lot of different structures. I'm not exactly sure what I want to necessarily do yet. I have different things that I want to put on my island, but I'm not sure of how I want to go about it. But I wanted to showcase what it looked like before I went into changing it up. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my island, which is called Ajisai. So I named my island Ajisai because in New Leaf I had named my town Himawari, which is sunflower in Japanese, and sunflowers are my favorite flowers. And because Animal Crossing is a Japanese game and certain elements have that influence, I wanted to name it in Japanese. So Ajisai is the name for hydrangea in Japanese, and it's another type of flower. Because I was actually on the fence with naming my island Himawari just to keep the theme going, but it's a new town, a new space, so I wanted to give it a new name. And hydrangeas are very important to my family, and my family, especially within the past couple of years, have hit some really hard spots. And I just recently lost my grandma whose favorite flowers were hydrangeas and that are very important to her, so I definitely wanted to add something for her in her memory. Speaking of my grandma, this is a small memorial that I have for her. I actually had moved this, the original spot I'll show you later on. It was up on this cliff, but I thought that this was kind of a perfect spot. If I were to imagine her in this game, I could see her being in this spot by the sea with her foldable chair. I have a lighthouse because lighthouses make me think of her. She had a lot of paintings with lighthouses in them, and also a shell because she's laid to rest with my papa, and whenever we go to visit them, we usually bring a shell with us so we can leave it there for them. As you can probably tell, my island is very chaotic. There's a lot of things on the ground, there's a lot of trees that are all over the place. There's really no rhyme or reason, and I was expecting it to be this way because I didn't want to waste spells on something that I would be probably moving around once I unlocked terraforming, so I really wasn't going for a visually appealing look, I guess, for these different spots. It was more of a, hey, you know what, that's a fruit tree. That's gonna get me some money. I'm just gonna plant it. I'm gonna figure out what trees I'm going to keep. I might just condense my orchard down to maybe 4 trees. I don't think I'm gonna need too many as I progress through the game. I know there's a lot of people that like strategizing, like for example with the tarantula spawns. I have not had really any luck with tarantulas, and I say that because I only ever experienced one and he was a pain in the ass to catch. And the same thing with fishing too. A lot of people seem to go to fishing for bells, but fishing doesn't really relax me. If anything, it kind of annoys me. Which is a shame because I think that it's a pretty cool thing to do, and it definitely is an upgrade from New Leaf because you're able to take the junk and essentially turn it into an item, which I think is really cool. I really like the DIY system that they added into these games. I'm very impatient with it though. Even though that cutscene is like so short with them making the item, I'm just like, I would just, skip it and made it. Like, I don't even care. But them adding that system all together I think is really fun, and it makes getting exclusive items more challenging. So as I said, no real rhyme or reason for the trees or the flowers that I place. They're kind of all over the place and they're grouped in bunches. Like I said, I know it is not visually appealing. That's what I'm really excited to do once I get started on redoing this island. I really want to place the flowers in minimized spots. I mean, I do want a lot of flowers, but I also don't want them all bunched up like how I have them here. A place that I can probably stay for ages in is the Blathers Museum. I love the update to the Blathers Museum, and I love all the sections, but I do spend most of my time in the fossil section. I just think the layout of the fossils and the way they're displayed, the music and everything is just so beautiful and pretty. And the same thing with the fish section, the ocean section. Again, gorgeous. Like, absolutely beautiful. The bug section is really nice. I'm just not a big fan of bugs. I feel like I can't move the camera around as much as the other sections too. In the art section, I don't have a lot of art in there, maybe like 2 pieces. I always miss Rhett. He's always in the back of the island, and he's kind of covered by this cliff that I'll show you. And that was one of the only reasons why I moved my grandma's memorial to the side of my island. It was because he was right in front of Rhett's and boat, so you would see like smoke behind. I had a Western-style tombstone that was up there, and I was like, I'm not digging this. But I always miss him, so I have only like 1 or 2 art pieces. I definitely want to work down that cliff so I can see him better when I go to the back of the island. Another thing that I haven't really put are the pathways or the inclines. So, like I said, I didn't spend money on them because I knew essentially what terraforming was going to be. Like, I tried my best not to spoil myself through this game, but I did get the game pretty late. I got it on May 15th. That's when officially I started. And I've now completed the main story on June 14th. And KK Slider visited us and he played his concert, and he took a hell of a long time getting here. Like, I mean, come on. I've seen people beat this game in like 5 days, so I don't know why he took so long to get here. I also really haven't been playing as much as when I first started. It doesn't have to do with the fact that I don't like the game, I just haven't had the time to, between going through work and stuff at home and things like that. This pandemic is lessening itself, and it's not like it was in the very beginning when everyone was pretty much stuck at home and this was all they can basically do. Because I started later, I don't have that opportunity to, so my updates are few and far between. I feel like a lot of my friends' islands are really well put together, and I'm jealous. But it is inspiring to see people's takes on it. I have a few ideas that I got from them, and then other things that I've seen on YouTube that I definitely want to try until we can do that again. So before I close it off, I'm just going to show you guys inside of my house. My house is nowhere near complete at all. That's probably going to be the last step. It's interesting because in New Leaf, my house was the first thing that I focused my attention on, and my village was the second. I don't think I really completed my village, but I was very close, if not like 95% complete with my house. But yeah, I do think it's going to be my last focus. So my house is going to be different from what I had in New Leaf, aside from one room, which I'll get to. So I decided that my back room is going to be my bedroom, and the front room is going to be the living room, like the space that you walk into, which I had in my previous game. It was the living space area. But in New Leaf, my bedroom was on the top floor, and now it's actually in the very back. But as you can see, there's really not a lot done with it. The room that I'm going to have to my right is actually the same type of room that I had in New Leaf, and it's just going to be all of the Japanese-themed items, because there's a lot of them, obviously, with it being a Japanese game. And I just think that they're really cool to display. I was really happy with how this room came out in my New Leaf game, as well as my bedroom. The room that I had in the very back was almost like an aquarium slash kitchen area, which is it was kind of strange because I had a sushi bar like right in dead and center, surrounded by sharks and fish, which is kind of dark. I think that PETA would go after me for that. They've already went after Animal Crossing already, but they definitely go after me after seeing that back room. The fact that it's a back room too, which is, anyways. So on the left-hand side though, this is going to be my kitchen area. In my New Leaf game, this was kind of sort of a living space slash studio, which actually I moved to the upper part of this house. So I'm going to have my studio in the attic of my home. Just because of the way that it's laid out, it's very rectangular. It's very different from the way that the other rooms are spread out. And I have a feeling if I actually lived in this house, that this would probably be my setup in real life. I would put my studio on the top. One of the first pieces that I got from the studio was actually the cartoonist set. I got it from one of the first balloons that I popped, so they kind of knew. But as I said, I unfortunately am not going to be focusing my attention on my house. I do not have a basement area yet because I'm still paying off my loans with Tom Nook, so when I do my monthly update next month, hopefully I'll have it by then, but we'll see. It all depends on how life is going to go. But yeah, essentially that's my house and that's my island. My island of Ajisai, of the hydrangeas, which I hope I'll be able to put more of a focus of as I design the area. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I actually do have a Twitter dedicated to my gaming adventures. It's actually been quite a few years since I've really honed in on gaming again. It used to be a very big part of my life, but shit kind of hit the fan a couple of years ago, so I'm reimbursed back into it, and I love it. I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I'm surprisingly really liking. I was not expecting to love the games as much as I do. And it's the longest longest that I've been away from a mainstream Pokemon series, because for those of you who know me in real life, Pokemon is like my go-to. They're my main franchise, and it just seems very weird to be apart or away from it for so long. But I was not intending to get a Switch for a very long time because I had moved across the country about 2 or 3 times, so getting a Switch was really out of the question because saving finances for other places. But in any case, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next month, I guess, with a monthly update. Bye, stay safe.